All right, as we look forward to the next 3 days between Wednesday and into the morning on Sunday, some significant impacts of wintry weather across the region. We're talking about difficult to impossible travel in places and at times. Tree damage and downed branches will be a possibility. That could impact those power lines as well. Freezing hoses and pipes could be a problem, as well as localized flooding from the amount of moisture this storm produces, even in the form of snow as it melts, adding to a very wet late season here in the FM area and valley. Threat to livestock is real. Overturned vehicles and those gusty winds, particularly the high-profile vehicles, a possibility. Snow starting to develop out to the west, and for us it's been very cloudy. The main part of the storm, though, spinning here in the central Rockies of southern Wyoming. As we head through the next 24 hours, it really begins to take shape. We see serious temperature differences across our region. It was in the 70s just 1 hour ago in Alexandria. Temperatures in the 20s in far northwestern parts of North Dakota. Here in the valley, many of us in the 40s, as we have seen our temperatures continue to drop. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast for the next 24 hours. Forecast models that go out 24 to 48 hours do a pretty good job. Our accuracy from these models is much higher, so the confidence in what's happening here is pretty high. As we go through the evening, the clouds will continue, and by 10 o'clock, some of us will begin seeing light rain, and the snow will continue to spread through western and central portions of North Dakota. Overnight, and as we start our day, the snow will push into the Devil's Lake Basin. We'll have periods of moderate rainfall during the overnight hours through the Red River Valley and into central Minnesota. And that's how your Thursday starts. And it's going to be a very wet day for the Southern Valley and Minnesota, and it's going to be a very white day for the Devil's Lake Basin and James River Valley, as the snow will continue there all day. Notice that between the rain and snow, we have this pink. That is some sleet that will be falling, and it could accumulate and cause some icy conditions as that line moves through. Notice we'll have some periods of very heavy rain here, and our model holds on to rain in Fargo, although we could be seeing a transition by Thursday evening in Grand Forks. And going into the late night hours, we still will likely be seeing rain here in the FM area as we go through the overnight. Moderate rain continues, but the snow should be pushing into the northern valley by the time we close out the day tomorrow. Now, here's a look at the rainfall potential between now and 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Some areas picking up over 2 inches of rain, and many of us picking up over an inch. Snow will all be out to the west, maybe the northwesternmost quadrant of Minnesota, and there'll be some significant accumulations by tomorrow evening to the tune of a foot in the central Dakotas. Many of our areas having some slippery roads, and 2 to 7 inches up in the Devil's Lake Basin. Now, as we continue on through the forecast period into Friday morning, that's when the transition to snow happens here in the Southern Valley. And this next 24 hours, being on Friday, well, there's still a little uncertainty here. A lot can change, but we should see more snow and quite a bit of wind, and that wind really gets chugging late in the day. You see these red arrows here out of the north, gusts to 50 and 60 miles per hour, along with bands of heavy snow that continue. So 2 waves of snow, one that will last all day Thursday, and then a heavier band that impacts the valley and the northern valley once again on Friday and into Saturday. Now, as we close out the day on Friday, we're looking at rainfall totals that will be upwards of 3 inches. We're looking at snowfall totals that will be 8 to 15 with isolated 2-foot totals possible by that time. Fargo could see 2 to 5, and there could be some areas with icing, particularly watching the Sisseton Hills. Now, once we get beyond day 2, then the forecasts become a little less high resolution. So we have to take this with a grain of salt, but the snow continues into Saturday and even for some on Sunday. And grand totals of snow, take this with a grain of salt, 5 to 9 for Fargo, 18 to 24 in northeast North Dakota, with isolated places picking up even more than that. A lot of snow in the James River Valley and Cheyenne River Valleys. So our western communities will have the deepest snow. All of us will have a lot of moisture. Now, when we look at the European model on the extended forecast, it keeps the heavier snow just a little bit to the west, but the amounts, well, there's some consistency there. It's going to be a lot of snow. Well, it's messy through the weekend with temperatures that'll be cold and brutal, and then the cleanup begins as we start next week with temperatures slowly rebounding, Mike.
Let's just throw the American model out. Let's just go with the European.
We've been saying that all week. That European has been consistent. So
all right,
that's
good.
Yes.
Thanks. The best way to track weather this winter is with the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app. It features an interactive radar, alerts on the go, so you're never surprised when inconvenient weather hits. Just search VNL Weather in your app store and download it for free. Later on